Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
We managed to form this supportive bond. And she's...
Okay, I have had enough. It's too sickening for words here. And she's looking up at you adoringly, and I'm just like, oh my God, stop it already, stop. In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. Stop. Is that true? I don't want you to understand, I want you to overstand.
Yes, sir.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. That's not gonna happen. Not up in here, not today. And boom goes the dynamite.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Annie Dunbar claims her son's wedding day turned into a family betrayal when the bride wore white, not blush.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
Ms. Dunbar is suing her daughter-in-law, Crystal Dunbar, in the amount of $3,800.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Third, get up with it, Thomas. So I didn't realize that blush wedding gowns were a thing. And apparently it's a thing. It's just not a thing of yours, right? That's the issue we have here, right? You didn't want to wear a blush wedding gown, but your now mother-in-law said you agreed to wear a blush wedding gown. All right, so Mom, in this case, talk to me. What's going on?
Well, when my son proposed to now my daughter-in-law, a few days later, my husband and I went to their house, congratulated them, and we both explained the time-honored tradition that we have in our family that goes back generations. Three.
Okay, and that tradition has to do with the color of the dress.
The color of the dress. It just represents strength, and it connects the women in our family. It just...
Now, I could see why the women in the family would have this need to keep the continuity. You said you and your husband both went over, so he was just as on this issue as you were?
No, he was there for support. We were actually congratulating them, but I thought it was a perfect opportunity to explain our tradition to her.
And this is your son over here, right?
Yes, that's my son.
Son, come on up, Mr. Dunbar. So you made the decision to marry this woman, Crystal. Talk to me, Paul. Why her?
Why her?
Why?
Well,
out of all the people you could have picked,
you know,
you chose Crystal.
I guess.
What was it about Crystal that made you gotta have her?
It was just the right place, the right time, the right person. We met in a cafe on my college campus, and we just immediately hit it off. We started talking about pistachio macaroons and random stuff. And we sat down. But we just immediately hit it off and emotionally connected. And I think we were both struggling in Tallahassee, Florida at that time. We both kind of connected to that struggle and the grind that we were going through. And we both managed to form this supportive bond. And
okay, I have had enough. It's too sickening for words here. And she's looking up at you adoringly, and I'm just like, oh my God, stop it already, stop. Okay, so Crystal, I have a sense of why you picked him, but I want to hear it from you.
I don't know, he just makes me smile. I think that's what really did it. I was previously married, actually, before meeting Paul.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and safe to say he did not do so. He did not make me smile nearly as much.
That other guy.
Yeah. But you know, I have a son. His name's Jonathan as well, from my previous marriage, and I don't know, just meeting Paul, it was amazing. We clicked right away, but also it was just the way he took in my son emotionally, and it just makes me touches my heart to see how he's kind of adopted.
So would you say your
emotionally.
mother-in-law did a good job with the son that she has here on this earth?
Absolutely.
For you to enjoy? She
Absolutely.
did her thing. She put her foot in it.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Yes, she did.
So you knew going into this situation that you weren't just marrying Paul. Right?
Yes.
Because here's what I find interesting about this case, and Ms. Dunbar, I want to hear from you as well. You mentioned something about your son and how he embraced him. Were you just as embracing of his family and all that that meant?
I have really, I've had a hard time, I think, being integrated into the family.
Coming up on America's Court.
You just said something very revealing. I'm choosing to pick my battles, which means to me, that's a battle that you could have. You're just choosing to not necessarily pick that one right now.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Annie Dunbar, who is suing her daughter-in-law, Crystal Dunbar, for fraudulent misrepresentation.
Let's just say my mother-in-law has some particular feelings about the fact that I have been previously married, and like this is Paul's first marriage, and the fact that I do have a son.
Well, let me hear from you, Mom.
It has nothing to do with the child. My son.
Here's what I find interesting.
My son is.
You said that has nothing to do with the child. You didn't mention the marriage. The first marriage.
I'm trying to pick my battles, and that's not one of them. But
wait, you just said something very revealing. I'm choosing to pick my battles, which means to me, what I can infer is that's a battle that you could have, and it's in your mind. You're just choosing to not necessarily pick that one right now. So that means you have conveyed, I take it, this is your son. Is this your only son?
Yes.
You had some thoughts about him marrying someone who had been married before.
Yes.
Did you convey that?
Oh. He's too young.
And he's too young. So you're older than him, I take it, or no?
We have a 2-year age gap. Yeah, I'm 27 and
25.
Okay.
I put my trust in her. So prior to going to the wedding to buy a wedding dress, I picked her up. I wanted her to pick it out. And all I said was, prior to going, that I will pay for the dress if it's blush. Otherwise, we've paid for everything else.
What do you mean?
And
you say you pay for everything else?
I have
I want to see everything.
Okay.
the caterer, the DJ, the dress.
What about those? Do you want to give those to the judge?
Yes. So this is, like I said, it's a time, it's a tradition.
He'll ask you about them.
All right, Paul. Typically, it's the bride's family and the bride who is responsible for the payment of the various costs. Mom paid for you and your bride. Talk to me about that. Was that an issue for you, or?
Well, for me, generally, I stayed more out of the wedding planning. I left it more to them, left it more to the woman. Generally, weddings are very important in our family, like with the blush dress tradition.
So you have bought into this whole thing, because when we're talking about a blush dress, essentially, from the pictures you're showing me, we're talking pink. We're talking a pink dress.
Yes, more or less.
It's not it's not the pink that you have on right here.
Correct.
Which is what color? Is that more like a fuchsia color? Fuchsia. But it's like a lighter, more delicate, I would imagine that would be a good word to use for pink. Mm-hmm. You're not a pink girl? Is that the thing, or?
No, it wasn't necessarily that I'm not a pink girl. I think pink is a wonderful color. I viewed this wedding as a way to kind of start fresh and like start a new life. And oftentimes the color of white is symbolic of purity and of a new start. And I was really looking forward to that. And it was heavily implied by my mother-in-law that I was too impure to be wearing white on my wedding because it's my second wedding and I have a child. So that really hurt.
Well, traditionally, that is correct. You don't wear white on your second wedding.
I ask you, was that true that that's what you conveyed to her? That's a yes.
Yes,
it's taking you too long to answer.
Yes, it was.
It's taking you way too long to answer.
Yeah,
It's a yes.
no, that was a yes.
Because
I did.
why not? At this point you're suing, just own it. I didn't necessarily agree with the fact that she's older than my son. I didn't necessarily envision him marrying someone who had been previously married with a child. And certainly I didn't envision someone who was going to wear white when I already told them the deal is you got to wear blush. Does that pretty much sum it up?
Yes, but I would have looked past all of that had she had the integrity to do what she said she was going to do. And
Okay. Let's get into that.
So prior to us buying
Well, hold
the
on
dress.
a moment. You had a reaction to her saying that just now. Why did you, what was that? What was that reaction of yours?
Just getting into that has been my life story the last 2 months.
Because you're in the middle of it.
I am quite in the middle of it.
Who do you choose?
I choose getting out of this mess and settling this here today.
Wrong answer.
Okay. I side with my wife.
Stop. That's it. When one woman creates you, and then another woman says, but I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the decision that you typically have to make is it time for me, am I mature enough to leave mom and spend my life with this woman? And take on everything that means, even from a standpoint of having to defend her against the woman that raised you and loves you. So when you say to me, I choose to pretty much not be involved in this, that's somewhat of an immature answer to a husband who has said, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in good times and bad times, forsaking all others. Did you use those vows in your ceremony?
I did.
Did you feel as though he wasn't necessarily giving you 100% backing? That's a yes. That's a yes.
Coming up on America's Court.
I want to make our own traditions. We're starting our own family.
You want to make your own traditions. You want to start your own family. You want to do it on this family's dime.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Annie Dunbar, who is suing her daughter-in-law, Crystal Dunbar, for fraudulent misrepresentation.
I understand it's a tradition, you know, and it was expressed that that was a tradition prior to the wedding. But I also, I want to make our own traditions, you know. We're starting our own family.
You want to make your own traditions. You want to start your own family. You want to do it on this family's dime. Because what I'm seeing here is wedding reception package, $6,000, 140 guests. Rental for 1 extra hour beyond the standard package, $250. Standard linens for all guest tables and head table, $350. The buffet package, over $7,000. Staffing fee, $1,500. Beverage package, $700. China and linen, $700. DJ, $2,500. Mom came out of pocket. Mom and dad came out of pocket pretty heavily there to say, hey, I could be suing for all of it. Did you make an agreement with your mother-in-law to wear a blush wedding gown?
So from my perspective,
It's a yes/no answer.
I did not verbally agree. I said I would try to make it work.
So you were non-committal.
Correct.
Is that true?
No.
Were you there?
Not at when she was buying the wedding dress, but I did hear her imply to my mom that she would think about the blush wedding dress. And I was under the impression on the wedding day that it would be blush.
Why were you under that impression?
Coming up on America's Court.
Why wouldn't you tell the man that you're walking towards?
I didn't understand that that was highly significant to my husband to be.
Yes, you did.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program. America's Court is back with the case of Annie Dunbar, who is suing her daughter-in-law, Crystal Dunbar, for fraudulent misrepresentation.
I just thought she understood the importance of the family tradition to me and my mom. And
Well, wait a minute. You didn't tell him that your dress was not going to be pink until he saw you walking down the aisle in a white one?
That is correct, yes.
Now, I get not telling her, but why wouldn't you tell the man that you're walking towards?
I didn't understand that that was highly significant to my husband to be.
Yes, you did.
I knew it was important to the history of the family. From my perspective, it felt like an attack on my purity per se. And
No, I
so
get that. That's what the mom.
Yeah.
Why not tell your husband to be, you won't be seeing me in a pink dress. I'm not going to tell you the color, but it's not going to be pink. Why not just tell him that?
I think I just got really, there was just so much to do beforehand, and I had tried.
You didn't tell him that for a reason. You're not telling me why you didn't tell him that.
I knew there would be things to be said if I did decide, which I did, to walk down the aisle with a white dress.
Okay, now we're being real. So when you went with mom, you picked out a dress.
Correct.
What color was that dress?
The color was white, and it was beautiful, and a lot of women in our family have bought white dresses, but because she said that she would make that happen with dyeing the dress. So I whipped out my credit card, because that was the stipulation. It was a conditional gift that I paid for it. So that's her agreeing that she is going to make that dress blush.
That's what it sounds like.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. This is America's Court with Judge Ross, Emmy nominated for Outstanding Legal Courtroom Program.
I just want to move past this because it wasn't about the
Of course you
wedding's
do.
over.
And where's Dad in this whole conversation?
He's
At home watching the game.
rightfully at home.
He's working to pay for this.
He's working to pay. Dad's like, my name's Bennett, I ain't in it. All right, I think I've heard enough. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. Because I agree, I think it was a conditional gift. And if mom was really being salty, she would have said, I want all of my money back. Dad is probably the wisest one out of everyone who's like, you know what, it's y'all thing. But what I hope happens, because now you have a bonus grandson, there may be more coming, and it kills me when people have to resolve their issues by suing, but sometimes the point needs to be made. So Mom, I get it. So Crystal, you and Paul will pay that $3,800 back to your mother-in-law. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $3,800.
I hope that we can gain some mutual respect for one another, and I hope we can move past this at some point.
I can try to trust you going forward, and we will not have an issue.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.